Hi my lovelies, my name is Yetty and welcome to another episode of Yettysplash. You would agree with me that a lot has been happening in the United Kingdom, especially when it comes to immigration policies, changes. A lot have been happening. Recently, the UK government announced some changes, especially with regards to care workers, bringing in dependents.
Stop overseas care workers from bringing family dependents.
Skilled worker visas, the salary threshold increase, and lots more. And while these policies are just coming, a lot of people are finding it difficult to understand, and there are so many questions that have been sent to my DM to, sort of clarify some things and see if these provisions are going to be applicable to those that already have their care visas or those that are already in the United Kingdom, or does it mean that the UK is scrapping health and care visa in total? Like, what is really going on? So guys, on today's episode of Yettysplash, I'm here to share with you my most frequently asked question and to also clear your doubts that you might have when it comes to the new policy that has been released by the UK Home Office with regards to not just care worker visa but also skilled worker visa. So if this interests you, don't go anywhere, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share my video so that beautiful people like yourself would also have the opportunity to watch this video and also clarify their doubts. Oh, my returning subscriber, what can I do without you guys? I love you all so much. So we all know that the first of the UK's 5 points to reduce legal migration is to stop the abuse of health and care visa and also stop carers from bringing in dependents to the United Kingdom. Now, one of the most frequently asked questions in my DM is, if I'm in the UK already, will this affect me? So a lot of people are already in the United Kingdom and they already have their health and care work visa, but they are not married. So they want to find out that if they're in the UK already, will this affect you? Well, as a lawyer, like I said, this is not a legal advice, but with my residual knowledge of the law, I'm very sure that law does not operate retrospectively. It's like a principle of law whereby law does not go back in time and operate. Do you understand what that means? It means that this law is taking effect in spring. They're just making the announcement now. If you've had your visa prior to now, then it is not applicable to you, because at the point in which the UK government gave you that visa, it was on the notion and on the condition that you can bring in your dependent. So if you currently have an health and care visa and you do not have a dependent, then I think that you're still eligible to bring in your dependent. The only thing is that if you want to be sure, if you want to be safe, you might bring them in before April, but I don't think you should have any problem bringing them in after April, because you've already had your own visa before the UK started rolling out these plans. Now, another question in which a lot of people have been asking me is that I am single. Can I still bring my dependent? Now, this is a dicey one because you are single. What if you get married in like 2 to 3 years? Even though you already have your visa, what if you get married in 2 to 3 years from now? Can you still bring in a dependent? So now, this is what I'm going to say. On this issue, I think it is best for us to probably wait for the government to make like a clear, date as to when this will take effect and those that will be affected by this plan. Is it those coming in? And I hope that they'll further shed more light to it. But then again, if you ask me my opinion, I still don't think you'll be affected by this if you're single. As long as you already have your health and care visa before this migration plans, it's just like the student visa as well. A lot of people were still able to bring in dependent till December. Those coming in for December intake, they are also coming in with their dependents. You know why? Because the law will take effect from 1st of January. Okay, so those that are already in by December, they are not affected at all. They can apply for post-study work visa with their dependents as well. They are not affected. It's those coming in January that will be affected. So I want to say, if you're single and you already have a valid health and care visa before rolling out this policy, you might be able to still bring in your dependent. But then again, we can still wait for when the UK government have finally clarified what they really want to achieve with this visa, those that it will be applicable to. Another question in which a lot of people has been asking is that, when is this new law taking effect? So it is spring 2024, meaning April thereabout 2024. We don't have a set date yet. So if you want to come into the UK as a carer with dependent, you have to come in now, because from April you can no longer bring in your dependent. You have to come in as a single person, and if you're on that job for 5 years, meaning you cannot bring in your dependent I'm so sorry. Like in 5 years, I don't know what they expect you to do. Maybe you should also marry another person with care worker visa. Why two of you running separate visas? Because it doesn't really, make sense. Fact still remains that this law will not take effect until 2024 April. Another question which a lot of people have been asking me is that what happens if I then give birth while on this visa? Yes, I think for your child, as long as you're not taking the child outside the United Kingdom, pending when you've legalized your own stay, you should be fine. So the child, nothing is going to happen to the child. I mean, the only thing, the child will still be entitled to any sort of like NHS services that they're entitled to. The only thing is you probably not just do your child's visa or anything, because you can't take that child out of the United Kingdom. Because once you take the child out of the United Kingdom without having proper documentation, then you might not be able to bring back the child into the United Kingdom. So if you have a child on health and care visa while you cannot bring in dependent, all you have to do is you have to wait till you then have your indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom. Once you've gotten that, then you can apply for your child. Then your child can, go in and out of the United Kingdom, if that makes sense. We also know that one of the United government changes coming up is the salary threshold for skilled worker visas. They've increased this from about 26,200 to about 38,700, I think. So a lot of people have been asking me, what if I get a job and then they're not paying me up to that? Does that mean I'm not going to be able to, get a skilled worker visa, this and that? First, let me clarify. If the job you're getting is on the shortage occupation list, then you are not affected. I repeat, if the job you're getting is on the shortage occupation list, you're not affected, because this shortage occupation list was sort of like created with some, would I say benefits, or with some reduction. So it's not really a strict skilled worker visas immigration law that is applicable to those occupation on the shortage occupation list, right? If the job you're seeking to apply for is on the shortage occupation list, you sort of like have a reduced salary threshold already, meaning you don't have to earn 38,400. So there are other jobs on the shortage occupation list, not just care workers, right? So there are other occupation, construction workers. We also have nurses, doctors, teachers on this list. So if you're applying for any job on the shortage occupation list, then you don't have to earn £38,000 before you can, get a COS and be sponsored in the United Kingdom. This rule of care workers not bringing in dependent affects other occupation, or is the UK cancelling, bringing in of dependent? No, it is only to care workers, and then obviously those on the student dependent visa. If you're not studying from PhD and above, you can't bring in your dependent. But if you're coming on a skilled worker visa, as long as you're not a carer or a senior carer, you can still bring in dependent. So if you're applying to come to the UK as a nurse, as a doctor, as a teacher, or any of the tech, visa that you're coming on, you can bring in your dependent. Any skilled worker visa is qualified for, a family visa is qualified for you to bring in your dependent. It is only the health and care worker visas holders that will no longer be allowed to bring in dependent come spring 2024. So I hope this video has been able to clear some of your doubts. If you still have more doubts or questions, please leave them in the comment section. I will be more than happy to, answer. Again, this is not an immigration advice. It's just me giving you my opinion. You can either take it or leave it. Okay, my lovelies, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to be giving you content back to back on this channel, especially when it comes to relocating abroad, moving, settling, and most importantly, having fun while in another man's country. My name is Yetty, and I still remain your one and only baby girl. Stay blessed. Bye, guys.